Grand and glorious, royal, rich, divine rising. This is the Anointed Reborn Again Dynasty. Today's message is going to be about the wounds of women. I'm going to read a passage that I cultivated, and then I'm going to dive right in. They see the grace, the sweetness, the radiant glow, but they have no idea about the iron and the fire it took to forge it. In this message, I'm taking you from the schoolyard battles to adulthood to expose the raw anatomy of female envy, relational sabotage, and the deceptive huddle culture. If you've ever been targeted for your natural beauty, your uncut truth, or your refusal to minimize your light to make insecure crowds comfortable, this is your validation. The free show is officially over. Welcome to the exclusive box seats to your own sovereignty. All right. So we're going to start with the mother womb. And generally, that's where it begins. A mother figure, not necessarily your mother, could be a stepmother, your biological mother, adopted mother, a grandmother, an aunt that acted as your mother, you know. All right. My mother was a young mother. And by the time she was 21, she had 2 children. And she was married by the time she had my brother. And she was with my dad for, I believe, 6 or 7 years. So by this time, my mother is still in her 20s. And she's now a newly single mom. My father was a musician, so her earlier years was pretty exciting. And when he decided to settle down, and he was also 13 years older than her, so when he decided to settle down, they basically was just not on the same page anymore. She was on a different speed, right? And so now I'm at an age that, I'm slowing my mom down. Now, she did have 2 kids, but for some reason, she was good with my brother. I watched her over the years, and I realized there was just something about girls, because the boys, they just loved her. Right? And so there's this saying that you can't get along with your mother, and you do everything to try to appease her, but just nothing works. That she's jealous of you, that you remind her of what she wanted to be or could be, or all her flaws or whatnot, whatever that case may be, it was something. And most likely generational. But I'm a kid, what do I know? And I'm definitely cut from a different cloth mentally, because I was just trying to understand her. My disappointment and or anger for her didn't come until my late 20s. So anyhow, my mother was an abusive woman. Very abusive. And she had these eyes that she can cut you like a knife, except when she looked at you, you literally froze. You know what was going to happen, or You just wanted to be ready, right? So one day I just got tired of her taking out her frustration on me, and I made sure the wounds that I always covered up, they was exposed this day. So the proper authorities came. Oh, but in true fashion, my mother told them that I burned myself with an iron. And then right after that, the lady was somewhat convinced, but told her that she better not have to come back here. Well, at that point, my mother knew that it was a good chance that lady was going to be back. She decided to peek over these little columns. My grandmother used to have this open mantle, and it had beams there. And I remember my mother peeking her face through those beams and telling me, "You thought you were smart, didn't you?" Oh, but don't worry about it. I never wanted you anyway. Your father can have you. So yeah, you would think like, did she just say that to me? But in the same breath, I was like, yay! I got my freedom. I'm going to my daddy's house. Oh boy, little did I know, that was where it was really about to begin for me. I had traded a sense of security for stability that was less painful physically, but mentally and emotionally, I didn't have no mental or emotional pain. I was never yelled at or cursed at. I was just only hit over that. When I moved with my father, it was a lot of mental games that became emotionally disturbing. And I did things as a teenager that I never imagined myself doing. And let's just be fair. Now I'm moving to a new household. And the dynamics of this. We have an arranged marriage. That it was known that we're only getting married because of the baby. And after so many years gone by, that's when the love kind of kicked in. And it stayed a little bit, and then it died off. But unfortunately, for that household, more kids started coming from other mothers. Then my grandpa showed up. And at one time, my post-stepmom. How many was it? 4? And my granddad. Slowly but surely, a lot quicker than others, they all went back to their mothers, and I was the only one that remained. And then my stepmom and my little sister, they left. And I was the only one that remained. But during that time, and all that was going on, my stepmother was she was miserable. And I wasn't the young lady that she had expected me to be or whatnot. And she was very Mrs. Jones, I would be exaggerating if I called her the lady from the wire hangers, right? But that's how she ended up making me feel. Because as a natural girl before this, and you're a relaxed girl, you do your hair and then it gets humid in the bathroom, so you want to hair up and run out the bathroom, and it's like only 2 feet across the door. So I'm running out to do what I need to do, and I'm going to go back. But she always managed to notice that I left the bathroom door open with my stuff on the floor. So I was like, okay, let me get that together. She did it a few times. So enough times to where I picked up everything in which I thought, but I was in a rush, so I ended up leaving something behind. So I just kept on saying, like, something's is not right. How is it that it's like every time? So this time, I took the shower, or at least I pretended like I was taking a shower. And I was ready for it because I was ready for other reasons that she hadn't even known. She had made my middle school a living hell. She was talking about me to other women at the church, not knowing they were close with their kids. And those kids were coming back and telling me everything she was saying. She never knew this. I never told her. So this one particular day, I turned on the shower and act as if I was getting out. And I sat there on the toilet. And then I left the light on and I cracked open the door. And in true fashion, she come running around that corner. She was just itching to tell me something. So that day I was waiting for her. And when she did, that was the day that I knew she didn't care about me. She didn't care 2 cents about me. Whatever it was that I was at sometimes, I just wasn't prissy enough for her. And I realized she was purposely trying to get me, trying to sabotage me just for anything. I just couldn't take it no more. And she started to go in on me about something. And I spit on her. And we started fighting in the hallway. Our dad had to break us up. You could be pushed so far, and you'll do things that just seem to be unspeakable. I've never done nothing like that again that day. But I tell you what, it changed me. I didn't care about being so prissy and all of that. I started wearing boys' clothes. No lie. She even told my brother, you don't stop letting her wear your clothes, I'm going to stop buying you clothes. And my brother was like, I guess you just going to stop buying me clothes. And she did. In her fairness, she was in an arranged marriage that had minimal love. It was just all about duty and responsibility. And then children started coming from previous marriages and when my daddy was in the band, right? So just children from other circumstances. And then they leave, and then there's another responsibility, my grandfather. But my grandfather is blind, and he's from the country, and he dipped snuff. So you can just imagine that room when he can't see, and who's coming behind him and picking it up, right? So now that I'm older, in hindsight, I can see a lot of things. I don't address it. I don't bring up none of those things. What was the point? Because I understood now. Now, Was my grandfather there? No. Was all those children there before? No. But it just added to everything. And in fairness, she ended up turning over a new leaf. She was doing more for me and my child than my own parents were doing. Now, my brother said it was because of how we were treated as kids. But nevertheless, I had forgiven her, just like I had forgiven my mother, and had to move on. Those two mother wounds there were the start of how I saw women. I saw two grown women trying to play chess with kids. My mother had a problem with always saying she's coming and then she don't show. And we'll be packed and ready and waiting by the door. Well, this particular time, my stepmother got tired of us packing our stuff and being ready by the door. Because those was my mother's, wishes, her instructions, right? Well, in general, it's because she was borrowing someone's car or didn't even have permission to take the car, and she's using it and she's coming to get us, and she's just risky like that. Well, this particular time, my mother did come, but we wasn't ready. She told us she would give us 5 minutes to be ready. She didn't even give us 5. I could still see my brother. I could still see him. My mother got in the car and she burned off. My little brother was running after the car. And when he realized she wasn't coming back, he fell in the middle of the street. He cried on that pavement. He was in the middle of the asphalt. I'll tell her how hot it was that day, because it was a sunny day. But he was so hurt. And I was pissed. Pissed at both of them. Because I stood there and watched that car disappear. And then when I left that street, I turned to my stepmother and I told her, I guess she showed you too, didn't she? So now, those are the two dynamics of my first beginning of having mothers and how they started already shaping me, right? So now I'm in middle school. Oh, the psychological, yes, the psychological warfare that goes on in middle school, and you make it, oh, you'll have a master's degree in relational warfare, no doubt. Okay. I didn't realize my beauty. I didn't know what was wrong with any of them, okay? But I realized that it was a little deeper than just my beauty. It was the way I talked. It was the way that I dressed. It was the way that I lived. And it was my truth. I put a target on my own back because I wasn't a follower. And I did not like ignorant shit. Things that made us stereotypes easily. I'm still this way to this day. So one day, there's this huddle of girls. A good 20 of them, probably more than that. And I overhear them saying, so I'm going to say that, so I heard you said that I was ugly. And that you'll tell me to my face. But the real girl that want to fight her is the girl that replies after the innocent girl says, no, I didn't. I don't even know you. And so the girl that wants to fight you comes out of the crowd. Oh, so you calling me a lie? And then they go to fight. And here I go. That's dumb. And that's stupid. And there it went. In the 7th grade, I had 5 fights. 3 of them back to back to back. 2 with the same girl, 1 with the cousin. I met a girl, and then the guy broke up with her and then wanted to try to get with me. And I'm like, I'm a virgin, and my dad's not going down with that. And plus, I live in a subdivision that's 30 minutes outside of the city. It's not going down, bro. I can't even have no boyfriend. I'm not even finna think about it. Okay. But oh well. They saw that conversation and took it like I was trying to steal him, and it's the other way. So now I'm fighting a big twin. This is how the conversations would go. Hey, Dad. You finna fight today? Yeah. I'm in the band hall today, and they have the doors locked from the inside, and the only way out is the band hall, and there's not going to be anybody here for another hour. So, and I'm sick of hiding in here, standing in here. I can't stay in here no longer. So he said, okay. And I opened up that door, and we were getting down. I was in my bra. Okay, she's a big sister. So, all weird kind of stuff. Somebody just come up and tear the pocket off of my silk shirt. My grandmother bought me these things. I would go to middle school with church shoes on. That's what they called them. They was always slick and shiny. Honey, I was, them yellow big rose shoes, that they was red, they was black. And I had me some red ones, okay? I was different. And it's as if I could never appease anyone. They're breaking my locker, steal stuff. I would hide my jewelry underneath the bleachers. They would find it. It's as if someone was always watching. And then one day they took it too far. And they probably had already been doing stuff because I had caught a sense of something one day. And then they all laughed. And so I was kind of like, did they put something in my food? parent. Because one of the girls, she couldn't take it anymore. She couldn't stomach whatever it was that they did to my food. And she says, Kirsten, don't eat that. And from that day on, I have been eating by myself. So I find me a table. I sit by myself. Well, guess what starts happening? Now the guys start sitting with you. Oh, starts a whole nother other thing. And then now the guys are seeing what's truly going on. And they're saying things that oh, y'all need to stop. Because y'all just jealous. I'm like, what's jealous? Really? Okay. So the next year comes around and there's some twins come to the school. It's our last year in middle school. Thank God. And her sister is running with the clique. And I'm like, she was like, no, I don't like them or whatever. And I said, well, I tell you what, you need to stay away from them. And I wouldn't hang with me neither, because I'm not popular. And she just thought she just knew she was going to stand 10 toes down about herself and that her sister would stick up for her. But no, they divided them too. And lo and behold, they end up getting to her. And now me and that girl that I had told to stay away from me because I'm not popular, they had talked her into ambushing me after school. Now, mind you, every fight I had in school, I fight and go back to school the next day. They thought I had special privileges because I lived in the neighborhood that the principal lived in. No. Back in the day, it's whoever starts the fire. You start the fire. It don't matter what happens. I always finished it. But I'm going back to school the next day. They hated me even more. It's like I just couldn't escape the narratives. On top of that, the neighborhood that I lived in, at the time, it was only 3 black families. By the time I moved out of the neighborhood, 5. Okay? So, I'm different. Okay? I'm listening to things like Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Nirvana, Red Hot Chili Peppers. You understand me? I'm different. I don't even know what they're talking about, really. Like, what is really your problem here? So that particular day, I tell you, she was getting the best of me that day because she caught me off guard. But then she let me take off my church shoes. I was no longer slipping and sliding around in the grass. And then a coach came. And we all ran off, And I'm wondering where everybody went. What happened, right? I basically got myself caught, but it was going to happen anyway. Because this was their time to all rally behind and say that I jumped her. But when I saw her, It did look like I jumped her. But I've always had nails, okay? And they grow pretty long, okay? I've always had nails, naturally. So that day, yeah, she was pretty bloody in the face. And we ended up getting in-school suspension for 3 days. But guess who's hungry? The girl that I fought. And guess who gave her money to eat? Me. She apologized, but I told her I could no longer be her friend. And then as the dust settles, and we're having some type of rec day where there's no subjects, okay? It's just arts and crafts. So we're all sitting at the table, and we're playing Uno. And then same group of girls say, Kirsten, you remember that day you beat Mathena's ass? And she's sitting at the same table. Ooh, I felt so bad for her. And at the same time, damn. You see how things kind of just turn around real quick? See, it wasn't even really about me. It was about the chaotic nature of entertainment, about their own limitations and insecurities, and just didn't know how to handle it because, oh, so you think you this, or so you think you better, or you think you white, or whatever. It's like, no, I'm a product of my own environment. I think I am who I am, who I say I am. We have that real bad putting character narratives on people just because they speak a certain way, dress a certain way, live in a certain neighborhood. And I was trying to embrace my Black culture. They just wasn't trying to embrace me. But that's fine, I got a lot flowing in me anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's just that, who doesn't want to at least be cordial or just accepted, not like systemic envy, predatorial, like we're just gonna, I don't care, it's something about her, I just want to take her down a peg, right? So by the time I finished middle school, I didn't have to think about anyone messing with me in any other grades because the reputation had gotten out. Don't let the smooth looks fool you. She's not the 1, the 2, or the 3. And they had built me up as such. I had a girl that was held back. She should have been in the 9th grade and she was in the 6th grade is what I was told. It was the day when it was substitute day. She made sure I was at a water fountain. And when I came up from that drink, pow! Yeah, this ear, I can hear real good now. That one was the worst one yet because the janitors couldn't do nothing. We threw the janitors out the way. We would get down. And somehow I blacked out. And it took me a minute to come to, and this was this guy named Christopher. And I just kept hearing him call my name, kind of like over and over, like, it's okay, Kirsten, it's okay. It's okay. You can let her go. You can let her go. And then when I opened my eyes, I just looked up and I just seen him. And he was like, it's okay. You can let her go. When I panned around the room, it was all of these teachers, all these administrators, all of these kids, and they were starch quiet. I had her pinned down in my chest. My hair like curled around in her head, and I had just locked onto her. I had just got pushed too far, you know. So now middle school is over. And now all the schools, all the grades flow into one school in this particular city. We're in 9th grade now. Now, I'm not putting up with no type of bullies at this point. Like, what are we talking about? And they were always around. And this particular day, there was probably like 8 girls. And I seen how they were walking. And so I had a girl that was with me, and she was, you know, a little more timid than I didn't realize that. I didn't catch that, but she was. And she was like, no, just give them their space. And I was like, no, that's what they want you to do. If you don't come on here. So I grabbed her, and her hands broke free. She stepped off into the grass. And this is a sidewalk for all of us. It's meant for us to both walk. But it's 8 of them, so their body is branched out in a big cookie, right? And so I'm like, if they don't move, I'm finna blow through them like a bowling ball. And that's exactly what I did. And then it was all like, what, this. Okay. And what? And one of the girls was like, let her be, let's go. And I said, Quita, that's what they want you to do. A lot of times that's a certain exterior, but they're not really worth the grit that they pull out. Some of them is, but you better be ready, because that's your dignity that's online, right? It's a shame what a lot of us go through in middle school that our parents have no clue about. Too busy, too tired to even know or ask. It's the most impressionable time of your life. So now we go into adulthood. And you have your best friends. And you're doing all different things. And then one day, you decide you don't want to go out. You're going to stay home. But they forgot to hang up the phone. And there's this random girl in the background. She's talking about you as if she knows you. But all you doing is listening to see if your childhood girlfriend is finna check her. But she does no such a thing. So I call back. I called a couple times. Oh, they realized I heard it. To this day, we never talked about it. We remain cordial at funerals. But I left a message. And I told her she's going to have to square up with me in order for us to settle this. Otherwise, you lost one. And I've been like that with anybody that I call my sister. I'm that serious when it comes about me. Don't play in my face. It's not wise. But nevertheless, moving right along. Life gets a little more interesting. We get jobs, right? There's always somebody that your light is irritating their demons. You just trying to get in there just to clock in and clock out and go. Man, I got so stealth, so mysterious, Why my name get put in the suggestion box? And it's supposed to be for business affairs, but hey, I am an employee. So you know what it said. We don't know if we. She just comes and then she leaves. We don't know if we can ask her for extra work or whatever. She's so quiet. Can you talk with her? Because we don't want to have a postal situation. A postal situation. You know where that comes from? Because when you have an organization that is big like a university, there's usually a lot of groups and cattiness and medicine stuff going around. So when you don't fit that profile or nothing like that at all, and don't know anything about you, can't find out nothing, man, yeah, the narratives and the scenarios are just rolling in people's minds. I literally got called into the office just so my supervisor could really see what was up with me. When I gave him a few stories about my life and why I operate the way I do, he told me he understood me, and he told me, you will never hear about this topic from me again, and go and do great works. The people in them break rooms, they are just middle schoolers that hadn't grown up. They just got big heads and big feet. Okay? That's all. Big heads and big feet. They ain't grew up. So, in every sector of life, you're going to find different structures. And what I notice is that when you're a good person, I mean, a genuine person, a trustworthy person, a loyal person, child, the universe will always send you nuggets. Will always send you nuggets. Excuse me, I gotta get comfortable. Yes, will always send you nuggets. And what I mean is this. See that butt dial or that phone call that didn't hang up? That was the universe. I was pumping gas one day, and this was this guy, and he saw my car. He said, you know such and such? I'm like, yeah. He said, man, don't let her drive your car no more. He said, yeah, I know the little girl is your cousin and whatnot. And the other day you let her have the car because she was supposed to go and pay the light bill. Man, that broad ain't do shit. She's sitting up there with my lady talking about you damn day. Hell, I can't even get my lady to do her work. And that's not right, man. That's not right. And I appreciate him for telling me. Okay? That was the universe. I picked up a little girl walking to drop her off. This little girl happens to be the sister-in-law to a first cousin of mine. So when I drop her off, she remembers me. Because that first cousin of mine is 10 years older than me. And she's like, hey. I'm like, yeah. She's like, now y'all need to cut that out. Because y'all first cousins. And I be telling P, I be like, what? What you mean we need to cut this out? What you talking about? You lying. You lying. I'm like, I'm serious. I don't know what you're talking about. So she begins to tell me some personal stuff, but it's the stories of what? I mean, it's just fictitious. Like, yeah, I picked her up one time with my boyfriend that I was dating. We took her out to eat, and that was that.
Where's this? He's married and shall we shame ourselves? And what? It was nothing like that at all. It was very fictitious and made up. And so I'm like, oh, cousin. Like, we can't do this. So I go to her house. She don't even know I'm coming. When I get up them stairs and open up that bedroom door, you should have seen how big her eyes was. She wasn't expecting to see me. Now, had I had been like my mother, child, I went there to warn her in true fashion. That's just how I am. I sat down beside her bed because what I wanted her to know was, if I want to know something, I'm always going to find out. And the universe always delivers something, right? And I told her I don't play games like that, and I didn't know we was having beef. Okay? But I don't operate like that, so we either cool or we not. She never denied it. She was just really, really upset and wanted to fight her sister-in-law for telling me. Go figure. Right? That same cousin, possibly 10 years later, was the biggest betrayal of my life. All because I told her no. She went on a 6 months character assassination. Because after the 4th or 5th time, I just couldn't take it in no more. I wanted my space to myself. Those things happen. So they wonder why you are mysterious. Stay to yourself. Very strict on your time that you give to people, who you allow in your inner circle, right? Why everyone in your life is acquaintances. You do a lot of things on your own, or you solo or dolo. It's either one or two of you. And even if then, you usually take your car everywhere you go. You like to be able to leave when you want to leave, move when you want to move, right? It's a lot of things in your earlier years that just kept growing and growing and growing. And the beauty of it is that even though a lot of those things could have made me hard, no, it just made me tough in the areas that needed to be. More resolute, more definite, more certain as to who I am, why I am this way. See, sitting in solidarity is not a flaw. It's a high vibrational choice for your sovereignty. It's a royal choice. Never regret for choosing you. And a lot of us are at a point in our lives where this owes no explanation. It either is what it is. And if your pedigree isn't up to my standards, then there's no explanation when I disappear. You learn your worth and your value when it comes to your heart in a sisterhood sense, usually first before the heartbreak sense when it comes to relationships with men. I'm going to say that if you are still a sweet soul, but yet guarded in your gates, I'm proud of you. You remain sovereign. You have gone through a lot of things that others wouldn't even imagine that you've gone through. And due to that, we've had to fight some demons. Oh yeah. I used to be a firecracker. You disrespect me, I give you 24 hours. And the clock started ticking from the time I told you. I expect an apology in 24 hours. Oh boy. And then I just didn't like that side of myself. I just said, Kirsten, you can't be around certain people. You can't be around certain environments or none of that, because your mouth and you ready to stand 10 toes down about you. So you learn to be exclusive for lots of reasons. And so people are going to amass all kinds of descriptions and characters and characterizations about you, because they don't know the half. All they see is with who you are today and what you bring. Your essence and your aura, it ain't for sale. And how I conduct my life and my space, as long as it's no harm to none, then I'm sorry, not sorry. Okay? Continue to be you, continue to thrive, continue to heal and release all that made you who you are. Wiser, stronger, brighter, glowing and growing, and now it's showing. And remember, the Most High didn't do it to you. He did it for you. This has been the Anointed Reborn Again Dynasty. Have a good night.